Everyone, it's May 2nd, so I'll call this meeting of the Ayer Board of Health to order, and we'd like to acknowledge and congratulate our new member, Patricia Peters, here, and welcome to the board, Patricia.
Thank you.
We're going to, I have the first thing is to review the minutes, and Patricia just asked prior to the start of the meeting why a zoning was mentioned at our last meeting. What the Selectman's Office started doing, which I think is a very good thing, they have one form now. It used to be if you came in, you'd say, oh, I'll go to the building inspector and see what I need. Then you'd find out, oh, I have to go to Concom, or I have to go here, I have to go there. Now what they have is one big sheet, and it lists all the boards on it. Oh. And it just goes out. If it's something that concerns the Board of Health, then our health agent looks at it and either approves, disapproves, sends it on to us. So that might have been what you were hearing about, because we did, I think, mention that.
Yeah.
But okay. It wasn't a Board of Health issue. So if it isn't, she'll just write on that, not a Board of Health.
It's anything that's mentioned or talked about is included in minutes. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So the first thing I would do is, we don't have anybody here. We generally have public input, and since there is none, I'd like us to review the minutes of April 11th. I've reviewed them, and
I have as well, and they look fine to me.
okay.
So I will move that we approve the meeting minutes from April 11th.
And I'll second that. Is there any discussion on it? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay.
And just so you know, I put 2 copies of that to be signed in there, and one of them has 3 signatures lines and the other one has 2. I wasn't sure.
Because you weren't sure what, yeah.
So,
Okay, I got it.
Okay.
Well, oh, I see what you mean. You still had Heather. I got you.
Yeah.
and I thought, oh, I probably shouldn't. Then I wasn't totally sure, and so I took it out and said, oh,
Okay.
I'll just put both of them in there.
And there you go.
Okay.
That put away.
Nothing else in here to be signed, Jane? Yes?
Yeah, there's a bill.
Bill?
I ordered some office supplies. I ordered some new pens and some envelopes and things.
Okay, so, well. Occasionally.
Oh, and I was running out of those tapes for the label too, so I thought it was a good time to get those.
Now, is this all ours
Okay.
because
Yep,
107.42?
yep. The expensive things were those tapes, and I got 4 reels, and it should do us for the year.
Oh, okay.
These for this machine that makes
Oh,
the
for your little
labels.
label machine.
Oh,
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Well, we've had that for a long time.
A little slow here too.
That's okay. It works really well, but I
But
do
you
a lot
need
of
the-
filing.
Yeah.
And I
right,
thought
right.
since, it's that time of year, I would put in
Yeah.
for laying some
And
supplies.
then
You wanna
pass
do
it
that
back to
here?
Pat. What's that, 107?
This is W.B. Mason for 107.42.
42, okay.
So,
And then that's all in there, and then you can pass it right back to Jane.
You can sign that.
Sure she can.
My first official signing.
Yes.
yeah.
That's a PO.
Okay.
in the minutes too. You can hand me the minutes. And that
The whole
folder, yeah, thank you.
All right, so the first thing we need to do is reorganize the board. That's generally what we do right after the elections.
It's your turn, Mary. We've been a couple of years without
I know.
Ms.
Well, I
Spinner
did.
at our helm.
I
so.
did ask Heather last year. I had some other things that I was doing. I did ask
Yeah.
her if you remember to.
Yeah.
Yes, because I think you had nominated me, and I asked her right off the bat
Yeah.
if she would do it a second year, which she said yes, she would do. So.
Yeah. What do you think?
Yeah, I can do it.
Yeah.
It's up to you people.
I then will place the name of Mary Spinner in nomination to be our chairperson for the upcoming year, term, well, however we call it.
Yeah, it's year.
Term, right?
Yeah,
Year,
yeah.
term, whatever. Until the next election, until the next time we have to
election.
reorganize.
Next time.
Well, generally, I think all boards and committees usually reorganize after elections.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's about the burnout limit.
I bet.
Yeah, exactly. So I've placed her name up for nomination. We can discuss. You can
Or I second
nominate
it.
someone else.
Or I agree.
If you agree with that, then
Yeah.
you'd second.
I second.
Okay. And then
All in
I guess
favor?
you'll call a vote. Aye.
Aye.
I thank you. So else,
Are you abstaining?
I don't think I should vote for myself.
So
No,
that
I think I did. Oh,
Well, then I'll say aye and,
okay.
all right.
At least we know you're not taking it under duress that way.
I just want to know you're holding
Yeah,
it
really.
I'm here to
God.
report.
Okay.
And we won't have to have the press here or anything.
That's right.
questioning
That's
it.
right. That's
Oh,
right.
God. Well, thank you very much. And now we need a clerk.
Oh, damn. You're such a good clerk.
All right, so enlighten me, tell me how
Well,
this usually works.
Okay, well, basically, as you see, we have a tape there. Jane takes the minutes,
Mhm.
and what she does is she'll give them to the clerk to correct anything,
Mhm.
and then they get sent out, and we, approve them as you saw we did tonight. So
Okay. And that's it? That's just looking over the minutes and making sure that
Make it,
everybody's in
yeah.
agreement?
making sure.
Yeah, I think that's about the
Yeah.
extent of the clerk
You know,
duties,
a
huh?
lot of people, Patricia, don't realize sometimes that minutes are important, and I said this to other assistants. We think we'll always remember something, but it could be 5 or 6 years down the road, something happens and somebody says, well, I'm gonna get the minutes
Right.
of that meeting. And what the minutes should do is reflect discussions on anything we had here. And it certainly doesn't have to be, it's not a grade, it's not an English composition,
Right.
but it has
Yeah.
to be the important facts. If you just have a discussion on that, it's a discussion. If you
Yeah.
vote, then what the vote is, and that's it, so.
So after Jane takes the minutes, it's just basically a second set of eyes in
Yeah,
case there
yeah,
was something
yeah.
else?
Yeah,
Okay.
and then we always review the minutes as part of the meeting, and even if the clerk has said, yeah, that's how I remember it, then there's still a last opportunity. And we've done that from time to
Discuss.
time. Say it needs to be amended, and we'll sign them next time.
And we'll see that sometime, you see it at a selectmen's meeting, they'll say, I reviewed it, but there's one little thing here. Now, if
Yeah.
it's something small here, we
Yeah.
say, just cross it
Can do
out
ahead,
and write it
right.
in. But if it was something substantial, we always, as Pam said, correct it and say, we'll sign it with the corrections at the next meeting. And then it goes to the clerk, and then it'll get up on the website.
Okay.
So
So if that's what you want me to do,
do you,
for my
do you
role,
want to do it?
to break me in here.
If you
Certainly,
want to jump in and
So just,
become, that would be fine. I'm happy to stay a member for another year, which might not be a bad idea because I have a god-awful travel schedule
I
this
know
summer,
you do. I
Okay.
know you do, yeah.
which makes me a little concerned because I already know I'm going to miss town meeting. I'm going to miss at least one board meeting.
Oh,
I
no.
know.
You're
I
not going to
know.
be here next week?
For the second year in a row, I'm going to be in New Jersey for
Oh.
Springtown meeting.
Oh, gosh.
okay. Whatever,
So-
whatever you want, I just wanted to know
Okay,
the
then-
details, so I'm not in over my head to begin with.
No,
but-
that's,
No, it shouldn't be
no,
too bad.
I don't think so.
Okay, then I'll place the name of. Do you still go by? Do you go by Trish? Do
She
you like
likes to
Trish?
be called Trish.
I do, but if it has to be
Okay.
official with Patricia,
With
whatever.
Patricia.
Patricia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Patricia
It's
Peters.
easier for me if it's Trish, because otherwise I have two PPs as initials.
That,
Oh,
yeah,
that's
Pam, no, that's
right.
right, Pam. Yeah,
Yeah,
okay. So
yeah,
TP.
yeah.
So you're
Yeah.
placing the name?
Yes, I'm placing the name.
Okay,
Okay.
and I'll
Patricia Peters.
second Patricia Peters for clerk.
All in
Okay.
favor?
Say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All right, so we've done that.
So now we can do our name tag shuffle. Let's see. Oh, I stay the same.
You
I'm a
stay the
member.
same.
You get the one that says clerk. Okay. And Mary.
That's a do-it-yourself
Oh,
kind of
Mary
thing.
has,
Oh, it's up there,
Oh,
because I
wait,
put
yeah,
Heather's
I'll
up there, that's all right.
It's up here somewhere.
all right.
It's over in the corner.
Yeah. And now it is official.
Oh, gosh, we like to be
Oops.
official.
Jeez. Can't manage to. There we go.
All right.
Okay.
So the next we have, and it's a huge thing, but I did have Jane bring it all down. We've got to go through
Ooh.
anything that Bridget had, and
I don't know, this is heavy lifting.
this is the proposal up there.
Oh, Riley Jane?
Yes.
Okay.
In fact, are they discussing that this Thursday?
I think
At
so.
the planning board?
Yeah, I think I saw the
So it's,
public notice. Yeah.
it's huge.
Wow.
I don't know if you want to look at it. Yeah, it's good.
Is that, this is not a,
Well, we usually get an 8.5 by 11 copy, but some people in the planning board were complaining that they couldn't read it.
I think
Oh,
it does
I
get
bet.
pretty small,
Yeah.
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 So this is just a full size.
So this is another question that I have. This is a planning board zoning, material, right? It's
Right,
something to
yeah.
do with property, but it's before us for what reason would
It's not,
my learning curve?
it's not really anything that we have to approve because it's not in the aquifer protection. There's an aquifer overlay district that overlays all the other zoning districts. So anything with aquifer, Board of Health has to review and approve. Whether it's wetlands or not, I have no idea, but that's a different commission or board. And it's primarily, it's zoning if they need any variances, and it's planning.
But again, this is,
But we
they
get to
send
see it.
everything
Yeah.
because I think
So you get
Bridget
to-
signed off on it
Yeah.
as far as Board of Health.
So, it's
Huge.
And this is a farm?
big. That is,
Pleasant Street.
it's part of the Moore
The more
property.
Oh, okay.
Up there,
Pleasant
like
Street.
Washington,
Uh-huh.
Jackson at the end.
Yep.
That's one of the, there's two, I believe, housing developments planned up there. That's one of them.
The other one's on Nashville Street.
That's right. I remember the street.
Okay. Okay, so on here, here's one that we just mentioned something, because there had been some talk last time, remember, about 41 East Main Street, and I think it was both Mark Wetzel and our town engineer said, wait a minute, I think you're going to need to go through others. And so this is from Bridget. I saw the email for 41 East Main Street. Looking at what is proposed, the applicant, when he is ready, will need to apply for a special permit through the Board of Health in accordance with the aquifer protection regulations. More than 15% of the lot will be impervious. I think you already realize this and you pointed the applicant in the direction of the Board of Health, but I just wanted to follow up with an email to let you know I am now in the loop and pass this on to the Board of Health. So that is that, and then another is a claim from MetLife. And we always get these insurance claims. Then there's, let's see, on the property, another one for property at 91 Washington Street. A person bitten by it's like a dog here. So we get that.
If you want to see
And
these
then-
are just, the insurance companies notify the Board of Health when there's some kind of a loss. We maintain a file upstairs in Jane's office by address of every property. So everything that we get that has anything to do with property just goes into the property file.
It's a lot broader than I thought. Or it's become broader than years and years ago.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes, very
yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
Very definitely.
Yeah. What was the dog bite? Can we take a look at the dog?
Oh, it's, I gave it to you.
Oh, okay.
Over there.
Oh, that's-
And then the other thing is just a reminder about the payroll period
Oh, yeah, yeah.
extends and to save
It
some
has
money.
holes in it, I don't know what it is, but it has.
No, this isn't the dog. There's no dog.
No?
No. I think we still have it.
I think, I do?
Yeah, you must. This is.
Okay, yep, sorry. This was, oh, bitten on the face. Facility, hospital, UMass University campus.
Oh, wow. What's
And
that?
date of exposure was the 20th. Dog, a boxer. And that is pretty much it.
So we have an animal inspector who reports to the board. The police department has an animal control officer.
Right.
Their job is controlling animals and also enforcement of licenses and rabies. Our animal inspector inspects all the farms, which includes everybody that has chickens. And as you'll see when we start doing permits pretty soon,
Yeah.
right? There are more
Next-
chickens in
next-
this town.
Really?
Next meeting, I will have some. I held off on the permits because I didn't know who the chairman was going to be.
Yeah.
You'll
Wow.
have permits to-
If they're just renewals and there's nothing, just tell me and I can sign them when I
Okay.
come in. If it's something new
Yeah.
or somebody is changing it considerably, and you said that a couple of people had been in, but they hadn't returned anything, you
No, I
said-
have I think I've got 4 returns,
No, I
maybe
mean,
5, but
no new yet.
no, well, one of them is asking for modification and it's gonna have to go to Carleen before we can give her a permit. But, one came in without a check, so I wrote a letter.
Okay.
Okay.
But it doesn't matter. There's like 2 or 3 that are ready, and I'll put them together and you can come up and stuff.
So she goes out and looks at, there's a couple of farms, and then she looks at the chickens. And then for the animal bites, it's the Board of Health animal inspector, who's Carleen Purdy. She does any issues of quarantine or whatever.
Yeah.
She checks up on the rabies status.
Yeah. And make sure that everyone's, if
Yeah,
they
talks
get
to
the
people
complaint.
involved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and what I asked Jane to put on the agenda for tonight was to discuss tobacco regs.
Yes.
The state legislature hasn't voted entirely yet, but
Yeah.
we had from the Tobacco Alliance, our rep come last year. Remember when she was talking about packaging and how they're trying to lure younger children in, and they have, what looks like candy and all kinds of things. And she was also taught briefly about e-cigarettes,
Yeah.
but not a whole lot on that.
Yeah.
We said we didn't want to make any changes yet because the state legislature was making mumbles that they were going to do something.
Right, it was in the news the other night about it.
Well,
Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
new, but this was kind of, was it early last fall or late
Yeah.
summer, somewhere
Oh,
in that
yeah,
vicinity?
yeah, it at least
So
goes
we
back a
didn't
year.
do anything. Now they're talking about it again. Last week, the Senate came up with a plan, and it was with about 3 different amendments on it and kind of convoluted. And I didn't think it would be easy for us to enforce. From what I gathered, and I believe the House was going to be going forward with it, so they have not voted definitely what plan is going forward. All it seems to be is that it will start next year in January.
Yep.
Some
And this
of it-
has to do with e-cigarettes.
It
and
has to do
vaping.
with everything.
Yeah.
Well, up in the age to 21.
Right, and that was the other piece,
But
right,
it
for
was
everything.
not clear, because when they first came out with it, they said they do it gradual. Well, that's crazy. Either you're going to do it or not. They were
Yeah.
going to do it a year. Well, it would take 3 years before you
Right.
get to 21.
Yeah.
And how, that'd be awful trying to
It's
enforce it.
very confusing for the shops.
Yes, and
Yeah.
we basically have had no problems with anybody in town that sells cigarettes. I think way back once, somebody didn't have their sign displayed
Yeah.
prominently, and that's it.
They come out and do compliance checks, the Tobacco Alliance, and Ayer has been clean as a whistle
Yeah.
for the last several years.
And they,
It's a really good record.
periodically somebody will complain, oh, I think they're selling to young kids. Well, they have their young people that they send in there.
Yeah, they do.
And like Pam said, our merchants have been very good about
Yep.
compliance. So I don't know really where this whole thing is going.
Yeah.
They're talking about e-cigarettes, they're talking about vapors, they're
Yeah.
talking about the whole shebang. So
Yeah.
what will come out of it when, of course, they don't have to approve until July 31st is when the session ends.
But
Yeah.
the big talking point is the age right now. And then in the same bill would be broken down into vaping and e-cigarettes. and all
Well,
that.
see, that was the Senate's version.
Yeah.
It goes to the House. They come up with it. Then they have a compromise, maybe, bill. Then it
Yeah.
goes to the governor to sign. So this is what I'm saying. What the final version will be,
Right.
I don't know. The city of Boston raised it because the mayor just raised it to 21 already. So what will come out of this for everyone else? And they said, well, pharmacies in places like that shouldn't sell cigarettes. Well,
I don't think they
I-
shouldn't do
I
anymore.
don't think so
Like
either.
CVS,
CVS
they've
hasn't
gotten
done that in a
rid of
long
them,
time.
No,
right.
no,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
so. I just wanted to bring this up to let us know now.
Yeah.
If the state changes everything, then it's law. If they vote it,
Yeah. And the way it comes into play is we have, and this, if you haven't already gotten into this, this is good reading for you too. There are town-wide bylaws. Then there are Board of Health regulations. And the Board of Health has a regulation on tobacco. So a town, either through a bylaw or, through a board regulation, we can do something more restrictive than the state, but you can never go less restrictive. So if
Okay.
we wanted to make our smoking age 30, we could, well, we probably couldn't.
That's
so we
why I was
asked.
wondering why
Yeah.
this was being discussed in a small town of Ayer.
Right.
It's, you were talking about.
Oh, we've
the
had
governor
regs for a while.
I had
Yeah.
no idea that you had different.
Our regs have to
Okay.
kind of line up with
Uh-huh.
what the state, they had, so I think our regs now probably say 18, and they
Oh.
don't address anything with e-cigs or
Right.
No, because
vaping
at that
or
time,
anything. Yeah, they didn't exist.
Right.
So we'll probably have to make a change to our regulation, to, if nothing else, to just line up with what the state.
So the state already
Requirements.
has bylaws or regulations about the vaping and the
No.
e-cigarettes? They don't?
No.
Because everything is so new?
Yeah.
That's gonna be interesting.
Yeah.
Because that is such a huge,
That's
And it's
kind
an
of the
election
Wild
year.
West.
It's
we're
Yeah.
not just
Yeah.
smoking
Yeah.
liquid nicotine in there, and that's
Yep.
the thing.
but what
Right.
I'm saying, Trish, is when it's an election year and you've got this group of your constituents saying, we want you to do X, Y, Z,
Yeah.
and the other
Yeah.
one saying, wait a minute,
Yeah.
I'm a business person and you're gonna hurt me.
Yep.
It all
nothing
gets
like-
political.
There's nothing like an election
It
year
gets political,
politics.
and then you get the whole discussion of 18 versus 21, because if you're 18 years old, you
Yeah.
can vote, you can go to war, you can do, it's that same old
Yep.
18 versus
But
21
they've been using that for
discussion.
years. It's time to
Yeah,
come up with
exactly.
something
Yeah.
new.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing we may also have to consider is whether or not we want a Board of Health regulation if just recreational marijuana passes. That's going to be on
That's
the
gonna
ballot.
be, yeah.
And it's supposed to be for implementation, what is it, January 2018? I think is
that
the,
far
so
off?
if it gets voted in, I don't think it's like immediately next year. I think it's January of like the following year.
Yeah.
So there's a couple of things that could happen.
Well, there may be, depending on what the legislature does too, there could be some more questions on the ballot too
Yep.
for the fall. So
Yeah,
we'll
exactly.
wait and see. But this one, I think they may get something before the session ends on the 31st.
I think something's coming. on
Yeah,
this.
I do too.
I
Yeah.
do.
Now, for example, and you'll see, you see signs all around town on municipal buildings. That is a state law, no cigarettes in any municipal property.
Mhm.
And municipal property means vehicles that you're driving. And we had several little discussions and, let's say, sending notices out saying, because somebody would call and say, I saw, such and such a vehicle go by and the driver had a cigarette in his mouth. No, because that's municipal property.
Oh, I see.
And that is,
And then we had
Uh-huh.
kind of a different sort of, almost the reverse of that happen, what was it, last summer? When the head of Parks and Recreation came to us to ask what he could do about vaping at the Sandy Pond Beach.
Uh-huh.
Because you can't smoke a cigarette or a pipe or a cigar there,
Mhm.
but they were running into a lot of vaping things and questions and complaints. So I think he banned it.
I think they
I
did. They're
think
an
that
elected,
was-
he brought it back to his board and they're
Yeah,
elected and they
I think
control
that's how
it.
they dealt with it.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
So we
so.
didn't do any bylaw because of it, but yeah.
Oof.
Yeah, I know. There's a lot-
Okay,
So,
so we'll
to
be
be
following
determined.
that and,
Right.
and one of the things that we don't jump at, Tricia, is because, let's face it, we're a tiny board with a very tiny budget.
Right.
And if we go to make a change, you have to have a public hearing and go through all that process and everything, Has to be in the paper and all that. So, knowing that, I think we have pretty good regulations right now. And again, as Pam said, I think our all our merchants have been very compliant, so
They have.
we'll wait and see what happens out of the state. I do think it's gonna go to 21. I have a feeling it is gonna go
And I
to
think
that.
something's gonna happen with the vaping and.
Yeah, I don't know why.
e-cigarettes.
Yeah,
but-
they gotta
Yeah.
get it, they have to get a handle on that because that's definitely being abused. for
Yeah.
The wrong reasons.
Right.
Yeah.
So that will be that. Now, Pam, do you have anything with RAB?
I missed my first RAB meeting since I've been on the board because I had to go to a wake.
And RAB is,
The Reuse Advisory Board
Oh.
for Devens. So all the Shepley's Hill
Yeah.
and all that business, they have meetings every quarter. And every other time, it's held either in Ayer or in Devens. And they're a meeting that Army Corps of Engineers and their consultants go to. The Mass DEP, Mass EPA goes. I go to represent Air Board of Health. And it's usually just an update on what's going on, what they have done, because there's still a lot of monitoring. There's a lot of these, they're called AOCs, areas of concern,
oh yeah,
on Devens. So it's not just Shepley's, it's like the former airfield has a lot of contamination under it.
yeah.
There's former gas stations.
The motor pools.
And
The dump over
yeah.
at Shepley's Hill.
Yeah.
I grew up on this side of it. And we would
Oh,
go through the
okay.
fence. I grew up on Scully Road. the
Oh,
acre.
really? Okay.
So we actually played in the
Oh,
Army dump.
boy.
Then when they left, but everything wasn't exposed.
Yeah.
But then
yeah.
when they closed it and everything, and all this contamination came to the front lines, we were like, oh my goodness, arsenic in the water and all of that. So
Yeah.
it's
Makes you
embedded so
think.
deeply up there. Where the motor pool was on this side, and
Yeah.
then there was the dump where everything was dumped. It didn't matter what it was.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I can't even begin to imagine what is.
Well,
Like
Army
they-
Corps of Engineers did.
They did do
Pretty good job.
yeah, and they put
There-
the pipes, the ventilation
There's
system,
ventilation. There's a barrier
the lining.
underneath.
Yep.
There's like a liner.
Yep.
There is a pump and treat system where they're pumping out groundwater, they're treating it, and then it's cleaned and going back in. So they are doing a lot of things, and there's a pretty well established set of monitoring wells with a lot of historic data that they keep monitoring and they keep looking at. It's called the plume, so it's not a Cocos Brook, is where the plume from this contaminated groundwater ends up going.
Mhm.
And they're continuing to track that and see, is it getting better, is it getting worse? And it actually is, a lot of the areas are cleaning up pretty nicely. They're doing some really good work
Right.
on the airfield. So I usually go to those. Found out very last minute I needed to go to a wake. What I haven't done yet, but I will by next week, is to contact Bob Signon and Laurie Near.
Oh, Laurie Neary.
Getting old. I'm drawing blanks on names to see if they can, one or the other can just send me a copy of. There's usually a handout of, what was discussed, and then I get those to Jane, and she gets them. Pretty much all the info for going back a couple of years is on the website. There's links to it on the Board of Health website,
Okay.
so people can stay tuned to what's going
Okay. I'll
on.
have to check all that out if we.
Now, is there
Yeah.
any testing being done up around Shirley Street, West Main Street? Remember we discussed that before as
Yeah.
to when they were going to test those monitoring wells?
I am not sure when they were due for their next.
Because we asked before, remember we brought that up, and I think you,
Yeah, they had done, I think it was at the last RAB meeting where they had, prior to that meeting, had done another
okay.
set of tests. So, yeah, they're pretty good about adhering to their schedule for
Yeah,
doing
okay. And this is going to go
for
on
doing
for
the-
quite some time.
It goes, as the EPA person that attends the meeting says, it goes on until it's over.
Mm.
It just goes on and on and on.
So when is the next RAB meeting?
They're usually every 3 months, so
Okay.
there should be another one, what was it, April, May, June. So there's probably gonna be one in July that I hopefully will not be traveling for.
Well, I wasn't quite sure because I know sometime in the summertime meetings get
Sometimes
pushed
it
out,
gets
yeah.
a little off schedule, right, because they
And
try
it's
to
a little more
accommodate.
settled there. It's not
Mhm.
like it was
Yeah.
prior to that. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
so,
But I will have some info on that for the, by the next meeting, at least to find out what they discussed.
okey doke. So one of the other things, Tricia, was that we had come up with trash hauler regs. And it's an ongoing thing, isn't it, Pam? We
It
were
is.
kind of asked to
It
do it
is.
by the DPW, and I would say we spent the greater part of a year developing the regs.
We did.
And after, we did this and got copies of what the surrounding towns do and, mass recycling, yes, they want us to do this. The state doesn't even have a list of,
State doesn't
anything.
maintain a list of haulers and where they operate.
so Pam says in one of the
Yeah.
meetings, I think there must be about 3 of them in town. I said, Pam, drive around
Oh my
and
gosh.
look to see he has dumpsters.
We
I
must
said,
have had 20 on
I
our
know,
list, just
really?
from driving around town
I
and
said that to
taking
her,
down
and she
names.
says, I can't. I said, just kind of notice when you're about on the weekend. And she came to the next meeting and said, oh my Lord, you're right. There
I've spent
are
more
a
time
lot."
looking at dumpsters in the last year than I ever thought I would in my
Wow.
life.
No, I had no idea.
Right, you just don't, you don't notice them,
Yeah.
they're just there, and you don't pay attention.
And it's the reason we want to know is we want to know where are those haulers taking their material. That's important.
So it's not just the big industrial dumpsters, it's also the people that have their bins out by the
Yeah,
side.
yeah.
Correct.
So they're, yeah.
It's-
I thought that those people, the ones that instead of going up to the,
Transfer
Yeah.
station.
and you hire, I can't remember, we did it for a couple
Yeah,
of
we
years,
do
my
it now,
husband and I,
yeah.
and there were maybe 2 or 3 in the town.
We thought so. We thought so till we started going around.
Wow.
There are a lot of those that go curbside, but
Yeah,
you have to look, like you say, look around at the post office. Look at any of your municipal buildings, they
Yeah.
have big
Yeah.
dumpsters. Your apartment houses that have to have a, and I think
that's,
the
I think, the
report-
big difference. Like, there's a little overlap, there's, like, we have waste management, I think
Waste, that's
Waste
the one.
Not is
Yeah.
another one. They give you the little, barrels that they
Right,
come
for home use.
every week, for
Not
home use.
industrial use.
But then when you start adding in commercial dumpsters, like at any place, manufacturing places, restaurants,
Yeah.
apartment buildings, then you're kind of into a different segment of the market. Then there's at least one that's like a recycling that the post office, for example, uses. They don't really do trash so much as they just take recycling.
They have both,
stuff.
actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's one, isn't there one company, Jane, I seem to recall, that's like primarily a recycling?
Well, they
um,
call themselves Save, no, what is it? Save Your Stuff or
Something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
It's
But
been
it
a
is,
horror.
it's out of Charlestown, and it is, I think it's a full service trash.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but they do, kind of major in recycling,
Yeah.
you know.
All of the trash haulers offer, and that's in our regulation, that they have to offer recycling as well. So they can't just take trash. If they're going to pick up trash, they have to also do recycling. So like we have 2 bins, one for recycling, one for trash.
Right.
But the other good thing the regulation did was, we were one of the only towns in this area that didn't have a regulation. So we didn't have any specific, law or reg where we could go after someone who overloaded their truck and spilled trash all over the road.
Yeah.
So we built a lot of things, or who damaged somebody's property, or who damaged town property going to, to do their
Right.
trash pickup. So we built a lot of that stuff into the
So
regulation.
is there, in the regulations, is there any registry? Is there any,
Yeah, Jane maintains,
Yeah,
so now there-
I
Yeah.
have 12. I've been chasing them. It's gonna be an ongoing thing.
oh, I know.
Mary almost got mowed down last week by a place called Miller Recycling.
Well, it was coming down Washington Street. There's not a lot of room to move because
No,
there's parking on the lower right hand, and I thought, oh gosh, there's not gonna be room for me in that truck. I'm gonna lose my side view mirror, but I just kind of stopped and I said, oh.
That would be
boy.
the height of irony, wouldn't it?
Oh, yeah.
But I have called them, I've talked to them finally, and she's checking it out to see, because I said, are you doing business in the
Yeah.
town of Ayer?
They most certainly are.
So, it took me a couple days to contact a person. So I am talking to them, but I don't have an answer yet.
Yeah.
so when business owners hire people to come,
Mhm.
is there a regulation that says when, like a new business opening up, that they have to register with the Board of Health who they're using as a carrier?
No.
No,
No.
the haulers have to have a
The haulers have
license. So, or not a permit.
A permit.
We issue permits.
And we have, that's on the website too, I think, all the regs.
Yeah.
So that, and it has the cost and if we fine you and what happens. And one of the things too, and I think it's through both the EPA and the Mass DEP, is that they want to know how much trash is going to the places
Yeah.
that dispose of
Yeah.
it. How many, so it's twice a year, I think they're
Yeah,
supposed to
they're supposed to
send
report
something
to the,
to the
DPW.
DPW superintendent as to how. So this is really our first full year.
yeah, this really just, only started permitting the trash haulers in January. It's January 1st. when it
They
took
had to
effect.
have, we sent them out, in the fall?
Yep.
Yeah, November.
Yeah.
October, I think.
We thought
Yeah.
a couple of months would be plenty
the
of time
only-
to
but
get
the-
this resolved.
The only way that you found out how many was just driving around
Trial and
having to
error. Well, what I
notice?
did-
Yeah,
What I did was I
Yeah.
went through, Mary first was my gumshoe. I call her my gumshoe, and she would go out and make lists. She'd come in and say, oh, I saw, and she'd very dutifully write down the names.
yeah.
Well, when you see them coming around the street, you know they're in town. If it's somebody coming around the Rotary and I see them heading to Devon's, no. But there was an
Yeah.
awful lot. Now, what we also found out is that some of them have been bought out by another company. Well, when they do that, they're supposed to put the new name and say somewhere on the vehicle, formally such and such, so
Yeah.
you know. So I think we found a couple of
And on
that
the
incidents.
containers are supposed to have the current name and
Yes.
at least a phone number.
Right.
Contact.
So it's
Yeah.
the,
But
'cause
I'm
we-
not sure they're totaling fines.
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
And I don't
either.
know, it's just like, where do you start? But we have 12 licensed haulers now.
I thought it would be a successful year, honestly, if we just got everybody with their permits.
Yeah,
And
well,
we
we
had-
had 12, and I'm not sure that that's, all of them. I
Yeah. I
don't
would
think
doubt
so.
it.
Because we had 20 to begin with.
Yeah,
And some of them aren't. I mean, what I did is did a search on I did a search on the internet and just said, who's, servicing, like, I'm a customer, I live in Ayer, I
Mhm.
want trash hauling.
yeah.
And that's kind of how I developed the list. I also talked to Mr. McNamara over at Devon's Recycling, and he gave me a list as well. But he doesn't know, neither does Mark Wetzel know,
Yeah.
that the state really wants to get a handle on
Mm-hmm.
how much trash is being generated in our town. And like you said before, where is it going?
Where is it going?
So if you-
And how much
So
recycling?
is it going to a legitimate place? Because
Right.
somebody got fined for picking up in Bill Ricker and taking, I remember reading that, and it wasn't correct
Yeah.
the way they were disposing
Well,
of
it's a
it, so.
huge problem because they're going up to Maine and they're
Yeah.
going to New Hampshire
Yeah,
and they're dumping illegally. And when
Yeah.
I was at the state, see, they were trying to get some regs in, which I don't think they ever passed, that made it illegal. I mean, I think it is illegal to do that, but this push to license them is a move towards auditing trash, because
yeah.
there are a lot of concerns that dump illegally.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So is there any way of checking, like, if you have, like, the businesses in the town and people, the big property owners, like apartment buildings, that, is there any, like, a cross-reference where you could check property and business
No.
owners, restaurants? Who do you use as your trash hauler? Would any
I
of
mean,
that?
Could.
I mean, that would be
Well,
even
it's-
more
Well,
time
see,
consuming.
some
But
of
you
Yeah,
see them,
exactly.
you see
They're
them
exempt.
out there.
Like, I live in public housing, guess what?
Mm.
We're not, any kind of, I said to Lori Nearing, we'd like to recycle. She was like, you don't recycle? I said, no.
Right, you don't have any means for it.
They don't
Yeah.
have that set up there, where
Mhm.
it's,
And it's exempted. So
Yeah, it's
there's a
crazy.
lot of exemptions.
Why
Yeah.
is it
yeah, why is
exempted?
it?
Talk to Ken Martin, I don't know.
No, this is, maybe I
I
didn't
think
phrase
it's-
that correctly, Jen. So that is a decision of the authority,
Of the housing authority?
the housing authority.
Well, I think it's a state thing. It's a state exemption. I mean, they can opt into
Right, seems like they could
Recycling.
offer it if they want to.
if they wanted to, but they're not required.
Might be the state
So-
saying they don't have to, yeah.
Well,
And-
maybe we could follow up and just get,
Well, I tried to do that.
at the state level, or,
I tried I tried through Lori Nearing and a couple other people, and they were shocked. Because they're a big recycling thing, and I said, why can't we recycle like at Pleasant Street and over at Pond Street? And she said, this is the first I've heard of it, let me check into it. She just, had problems. She came back and said, I can't get anywhere.
So those
Well,
public housing, like Pond Street and Pleasant Street, they have contracts with trash haulers that don't do both. They just have a huge dumpster and everything goes in.
No,
and that's it.
they Toronto, I think, has their contract, so they do recycling,
we certainly do.
but they certainly don't offer it to people who
Here's my suggestion. Call the state and see if this is the purview of local housing authorities to not offer it. And
I'll
don't you think
inquire,
that?
because I know that
yeah.
Lori Nearing is so thorough.
I know,
Yeah,
I understand
I
she
know, I
is,
know.
but I think
I'll
that
call Lori
no,
and find out she was.
what I'm trying to say is, I think as a Board of Health, that you could get through to the state now and find out
Oh, I
if
can.
this,
Yeah.
that we're inquiring because, and just let them know
I will.
what we're doing with regards to trash hauling and recycling, and the
Yeah.
fact that
Yeah.
our two housing authority, I think that's the easiest way.
I
What do you
think so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll find out.
But did you say they do have recycling at Pond Street?
No, they
No.
don't.
They do, okay, because I was gonna say, they're in my backyard,
Yeah,
and then
no.
they have dumpsters.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't see any recycling things.
No,
I just see
Doesn't
dumpsters.
doesn't the state have, like, I know, recycling programs that
Yeah.
teach recycling?
Oh, they
and they
do,
come and
yes.
they offer the receptacles and everything.
Yep.
Why isn't that something that
They
could
do,
be-
but they don't keep lists of anything.
Huh?
They want that, that's why when Jane was checking up and we found out, no, the state doesn't have any list. Oh, good. So, yeah, they do. They go around and they offer grants and they, you know, do little programs
But they could
in
offer
the schools.
they could offer the receptacles to be placed in public housing, but who's gonna be in charge of?
Well, that, it has to be
It
the
has to
housing
be-
I'm
authority.
Yeah.
gonna
Yeah.
call the state and find out exactly, but the housing authority here was highly resistant.
And it's the trash haulers that actually do it, the recycling. They pick up the,
And I know-
barrels.
I know our tenants association was interested in it,
Mhm.
so.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so we got nowhere, and so I discussed this with Lori, and I discussed it with a woman, what's her name, on Devon's, who has a recycling newsletter.
Mhm.
And they said, really? So they pursued it and just got cut off at the knees. And so they had the same experience that the tenants association did.
Well, that, I think we can,
But I'll be more than happy
I
to
think
follow
that-
up on that.
I think that's the only way to do it, is go
Yeah.
through the state and find out, because I never, I know the housing authority sets the rules.
Right, it almost sounds more like something the housing authority is choosing.
Correct.
What about Karen Swanfield?
She's not on board anymore.
Oh, she's not?
Yeah.
Oh, shows how out of touch I am. Who is it now?
Well, there's a number of people on,
Yeah.
she was on the house, she's still council on aging director, she was on the housing authority board.
Right, so, okay.
There's 4 or 5 people on that, but I think
Okay,
the
okay.
best thing is go to
Okay.
the state
Yeah,
and find
yeah,
out.
yeah.
Then we
Yeah.
can pursue it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'll find
Jan
out what they
can
say.
I
report
don't know
back
if
to
I
us
had
at
I'll
the
make
next.
some
That's
calls.
interesting.
Yeah.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
That you would think that everybody would be on board as far as.
Especially since we push it so much.
Yeah.
I think that
Push
needs-
recycling.
right.
It's so
Municipal-
commonplace nowadays.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Although I see some people in the neighborhood that have curbside and they don't recycle at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you can't force people to. That's the
Right.
whole thing.
And I think maybe
Yeah.
apartments are exempted or something.
What,
Yeah,
apartments?
because you see huge
Yeah, they
dumpsters.
have-
You don't
yeah.
see the separate receptacles.
I
for
know
the-
we had one time someone asked that lived in an apartment complex and asked us about that. And we did contact
And maybe
whoever
that's
the
fine.
landlord was, and he just said he didn't have the space and all that to do it.
Because
So-
a lot of those trash haul companies offer both.
Right,
The waste
right.
management, when we
right.
don't have it anymore, but
Yeah.
when we did, I think
Oh,
that
no,
was,
there's a lot of them
it was
that
really
do, but-
encouraging you to do both.
But again, if the landlord says, no, I don't
Yeah.
have the space, or, I think one person said one time that he had tried it, and then he had people dumpster diving in the recycling bin, so that just created more
Yeah.
work for him than anything.
Well, what I was trying to look up here, but I'm not finding it really quickly, is I thought that this might be one of those gray areas where there's like multiple agencies regulating things, but I thought that the Mass DEP regulations said that you cannot put recyclables in the trash. And I don't recall seeing anything in there about exemptions for anybody. So if that's a requirement on the trash hauler, that they not mix recycling.
Well,
Our regulation says, in order to encourage recycling and allow compliance with the state of Mass DEP solid waste ban, all solid waste hauler permittees serving residential, municipal, and commercial industrial customers shall provide customers with the option of recycling.
With the option, that's the
Right,
thing.
exactly.
That's the option.
But look up, just try to Google, if you don't mind, Google recycling apartment, building recycling Massachusetts or something.
Yeah, I just did, and I got a lot of hits. I'm trying to zero in on the part of the regulation that I recall saying that you couldn't, you can't put recycling in with.
Well, now they're separating it all. They take it to Devon's and they separate it there. You don't have point of pickup recycling. You have their recycling at the other end, as I understand it.
They still have, well, you don't have to separate anymore. There's single stream now, so that they do the sorting, but you still have to separate out what's recyclable from what, they're not gonna tear open your trash bags
No, they're not.
and dig through it.
Well, we
I don't
can
know.
put that on
I'll see if I
the
can find it.
follow-up and agenda
Yeah,
for the
Yeah.
next
I'll put it on the
next
next time.
item. Anything else you think we need to put on coming up meeting?
Not necessarily for a coming up meeting, but I did have one thing I just wanted to make the board members aware of. This was an email that I got from Chief Murray.
Okay.
So you can take one and pass it down. There should be two. If not, I have three. So Jane could have one. Apparently, on Bly Street, there's, and you can, I'll give you mine,
Okay.
Jane.
Thank you.
On Bly Street, there's a group of homeless people that, in or underneath part of a warehouse. The owners of the warehouse have allowed them to reside. And it's saying now that it looks like there's a little more than there was. They've expanded into a portion or underneath portion of the building where they don't really want them. They also tapped into an electrical outlet. Smart.
This is the second time we've heard about this.
Is it? This was the first time I had heard it.
A couple of years back.
Well,
something.
there's been that population down in that area
Yeah.
for quite some
For a
time.
long
but
time.
I
I
have
know
no
Regis
idea.
Magnus.
Yeah. Yeah, I know that name. He has the place that at the end of Hale Moore. I don't think it's Hale Moore anymore. But when I was a kid, it went in back of Moore Lumber Company. He owned that too.
Yeah.
He's over in Harvard too.
So I can forward this to, it looks like he sent it to Robert. I don't know if Bridget is.
She should get
Tied
a copy
into
of this.
I'll forward a copy of this to Bridget.
Okay,
Just-
and to me too?
And to you as well,
Okay,
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then you don't have to give me your copy.
Okay, yeah, that's good.
Just
That's a good
make
point.
sure you do that. Okay.
But they are saying here that the police, the owner, the fire department, the building, everybody's kind of working to get this
Well,
Yeah.
when you,
thing
yes.
resolved. But yeah, I would think health.
Well, I would think that Bridget
health
would be
issue,
one of
too.
the first people they call.
Right.
Yes, you would think that.
Hmm.
I think when we had a call or notification a couple of years ago, it was that there was mattresses in the building and they were living there, and remember she had gone over a couple of times, looked in and saw something but saw no individuals there, etc. So I know that we've had this before, but she should have
Yeah. And this
been
sounds
put on
like,
this right off the bat.
this sounds odd too, because it seems like it was something that the owner was allowed.
He was,
I have
yeah,
no idea why.
He was being very charitable until now. I think the population may have grown to, you know,
Yeah. Even at
to be
that, I'd
sizable too.
be worried about the liability.
Yeah, the
I know.
liability, exactly,
Yeah.
especially with there's electricity involved now too.
So Jane, let's kind of agenda that too for the next meeting.
Yeah, we can do a little follow-up.
Yeah, follow up on that. Anything else you think we need to?
Well, that's enough good news for one night. That's all I can handle.
And we'll have Tricia getting caught up and.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to sit down and really look at the
Oh, it takes.
website. I had no
takes
idea it
time.
was so, like I said, broad,
Yeah, read the regs.
broader than.
Read, I can send you some links to things that,
Yeah.
there's, oh gosh, I hope I still have the password somewhere where I can find it. Mass Associated Health Boards, MAHB.
Okay.
Is a great website because they're a group of people that actually help and represent different boards of health all over the state. And they have a new Board of Health members training twice a year.
Oh.
There's, I think the spring one might have just happened, and it's like out in the western part of the state. There's one in the fall in like Marlboro or somewhere kind of close. But they have a lot of good information on their website, just links to things, because really we derive all of our powers from the section of the Code of Massachusetts regulations that empowers boards of health. So if you follow the trail, upwards, then you really find what boards of health are responsible for and the things we're supposed to be looking at.
And it's actually a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot
Yeah,
more than
it
I
is.
had any idea.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, it's a
I
lot.
always thought, okay, they're inspecting something that, isn't up to code, or restaurants or buildings and things like that.
Mhm.
But
Yeah, it's
really-
that. It's after the whole 9/11 thing. Now it's there's a emergency
Yeah.
preparedness, homeland security piece of it. There's the whole animal inspector thing. There's RAB and
So it's all related.
Devon's, emergency dispensing sites. There's-
Wow.
yeah, there's kind of a lot of things we're
Good to
into.
know.
Okay. So,
Um,
if there's, you won't,
That's the
Oh, to
copy
put
of the
it-
letter.
in here, and you can give that stuff back to Jane.
Thank you.
So you won't be at town meeting, I'll be at town meeting
When is town meeting?
Monday.
Monday.
Monday, okay.
7 o'clock.
I'll reread I always go over my warrant again, and sometime when you go over it a third time, you think, oh, wait a minute, I might want to stand up and talk about that.
Yeah, you'll see something a little different, the wording.
Yeah,
Yeah.
something that.
Yeah.
And I did ask about that nuisance bylaw.
Oh, how is our nuisance bylaw
Well, I
doing?
don't know. I keep checking, and I did ask the clerk, and she said, well, I think town council had some questions. Well, town council reviewed it before. So then I ran into the town administrator. I asked him, and he said, oh, I'll be discussing it Tuesday night. I don't see it on the agenda. So did it pass 6 months ago through the Attorney General? I do not know.
I have no
I
idea.
don't think so.
No,
I don't think so.
past town meeting.
When we pass new general bylaws, what happens, Tricia, is now there's a format, and it has to go to the Attorney General, has to show where it was posted for the public hearing, it has to show the town meeting vote, et cetera, et cetera. And there's a certain period of time to get that in. Then the Attorney General has a certain period of time when she has to review it. Now, she could have questions and send back and say, this isn't clear, and then that kicks off, I think, another period of you have 30 days to answer this. But I haven't seen it. Now, when it comes and it's approved, it has to be posted in 5 visible places in the town, and certainly in both precincts. So I've been watching it and I didn't see it, and I've asked several people, so that's the update, unless, and as I said, it's not on the agenda for tomorrow night, so. And we spent a lot of time on that because it was something that they wanted to update to give it more teeth. We all commented on it, etc. And went to public hearing, so I don't know. So
Yeah.
that's pretty much it. So if there's nothing else, I'll entertain a motion.
I will move that we adjourn.
I second it.
Okay, it is moved and seconded to adjourn at 6:36 or 7. Well, you can put either one. It doesn't bother me. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye.